Right. Okay, my name is Provost Bolarinho. I'm from the Toronto Academy or chapter of AEMMA. We have Guelph and Toronto people here as well. Thank you very much for bringing us, having us up for the test. We've met here today to witness the challenge of the prize of scholar from our friend Maxim. Please stand in the center. Hold on. Maxim, have you practiced?
Yes.
Have you fenced?
Yes.
And have you studied?
Yes.
You're going to conduct this test in the traditional way for AEMMA Ottawa. And I'm going to turn the test over to your free scholar, Beau.
All right, so we will commence the test. Starting with the first question, what is the mission statement of AEMMA?
All right. The mission of AEMMA is to resurrect, research, study, practice, and instruct the combat skills, philosophies, and principles of accomplished medieval martial artists, and to achieve a state comparable to that of a medieval combatant, both in technology and idea.
So you all know, because you're here, we study essentially two traditions here, so which is why this test is a little bit different. So we're going to talk a little bit about the theory and the history, so we'll start with Fiore and then move on to Dall'Agocchie and the Bolognese tradition. So please tell us about Fiore, why you study him, and why is he important?
So the primary reason that we study Fiore is he provides a foundational foothold, if you will, for particularly abbracciare and dagger, so wrestling and dagger, although a broader sense of martial arts at the time. Very few artists of a similar time would show wrestling to the degree that he did, because it was often assumed knowledge, especially if you're writing for nobility, knighthood, things like that. These are people that would have been doing it more or less officially since they were like 2 or 3 years old. So there was a lot of assumed knowledge. So Fiore's place in our cell most often represents the foundational structures and techniques within the wrestling and dagger that lead into other actions with other weapons. And he goes on to show longsword and pole arms, other weapons as well.
Okay, what can you tell us about his manuscripts, the man himself? What can you tell us about the guy?
Oh, the guy. Fiore, for long, did Liberi di Cividale d'Austria. He was born sometime mid-1300s in Friuli area, northeastern area-ish of Italy today. He was, the Liberi part of his name implies that he was a free noble, lower nobility, a knightly class. This is, I guess, evidence, to me anyway, it's evidence by the fact that he was literate and wrote a book at the time. He was a fencing master, he traveled a lot, could have been mercenary depending on which side of the cardinal you're on. He was a veteran of Napoleon War succession against a cardinal in his case. And in the early 1400s, he wrote a series of manuscripts. I've seen a variety of names. There's the Fiore d'Italia, Fosco Duellatorum, a few different names. But they're more or less extant versions or copies of clearly the same content, sometimes structured differently, written differently, but generally the same. There are 4 extant manuscripts surviving. We know them usually by their library or museum that holds them. So the Getty, which is our primary reference material for his work, and the Novati are 2 that both were dedicated to the Marquis of Ferrara, Niccolo III d'Este. It is unclear whether he was the one that commissioned them or if he was the one who received them as a diplomatic gift, commissioned by someone else. But it is clear in the preview, or the prologue of the book essentially, that it is structured in a way that was instructed to Fiore by his patron. Whereas the Morgan and Paris, which are written in, Paris is written in Latin, and Morgan is written in prose, I believe, they're structured somewhat differently and of Fiore's own making. They do not have a dedication that we know of. Maybe there was one that survived. Those ones are the 2 later ones, roughly 1409 or after.
Yeah, can you just gloss over the contents of the Getty?
Yeah, so the beginning of the book, as far as the martial context goes, he starts with abbracciare, wrestling, unarmed, continues continues into dagger against unarmed, and then as well as dagger against dagger with Bastien, thank you. Pronunciation always eludes me. It goes as well to long sword, various pole arms, and in armor and out of armor, including the hammer, the spear, the lance, I believe is separate from the spear, and eventually goes into mounted combat as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about the 5 masters that he had to fight?
Yes, so the names always elude me because they're quite long, but he specifically named 5, or indicated that he fought 5 masters, essentially in duels of honor. He considered them false masters, having defeated every one of them without injury to his honor. They were fought with sharps and unarmored except for gloves and gams.
Thank you. Switch down a little bit towards Belgium. Now we talk about the Bolognese tradition.
Bolognese tradition. It is presumed to have started with Julian Filippo Dagby. We know that he had written a manuscript, though we do not know of any that survives. He was a professor at the University of Bologna of mathematics and astronomy, and he opened a school in 1415, shortly after Fiore published wrote his books, I should say, in Bologna, the city. He would go on to essentially be recognized as the founder of the Bologna School of Fencing, or the tradition of fencing, I should say, which has a generally consistent pedagogy terminology that they use in terms of the various movements and attacks and things like that. There are Dall'Agocchie naturally being our focus, but he is quite late in the lineage. To name other masters there. Well, there's the Anonimo Bolognese. It's anonymous, so we don't actually know who it was, but that was, as far as I'm aware, the soonest known manuscript after Dardi would have been teaching, around 1510. There are Maxim and Marozzo, who were both taught by the same instructor, and wrote in similar times. Maxim was slightly before in 1523, and Marozzo in 1535, I believe. After them, there is Vigiani, although I don't know much about him, to be honest. I haven't practiced him that much. There we go. I know he exists. Yeah. And Dall'Agocchie over by 1576. 1572.
Why do we study Dall'Agocchie in particular?
He has the most, I like to say it's the most incremental of the comprehensive manuscripts. He has 6 headings in his book, which he basically essentially goes from how to hold a sword to how to use it. The first heading is knowing the sword, the trigger falls into the sword. He goes into how many ways a sword can wound. He goes into the defenses, how to move among those defenses, how to defend against any attack, and finally the knowledge and experience of tempo, strette, and half sword, which are elusive concepts to say the least.
How does he organize his book?
The headings are essentially how he organizes it, in that it begins primarily with the sword alone, and in a broad sense later on moves on with sword and secondaries before moving on to battle formations, which are, I think, outside the scope of our financial situation. You guys can come before you get forces.
It's going to take a week to get here.
Okay, good, gotcha. Yeah, it is with travel. But otherwise, he structures his book in the order of. He writes it as a dialogue between him and an interlocutor, as was the fashion at the time, going into the, as I said, the structural aspects of the sword and how it can move to the different cuts, subtypes of cuts, going into the guards, then how to move among them, and then as he's discussing each guard, they discuss how to defend against any given attack, and the various distances that may be involved therein. So whether it's the different tempi of attack or of defense, sorry.
So my final question for this, and that I'll turn over to my colleagues. Could you identify or pinpoint one or more, and there's only one right answer, core feature of the Bolognese approach to fencing?
Yeah, I think the main thing I find is the consistency of, in particular, the footwork in the way that it appears and the way that it works. This is fairly consistent with other schools, but the Bolognese seem to have a very consistent terminology within that in a granular sense. That and also the commonality of the division of the way that attacks are made. So mandrito is mandrito, reverso is verso. There's no weird, make spelling or those kind of errors.
Any other questions about Bolognese history, theory, people?
So you mentioned four. What are the three main steps and who defines them?
I believe Marozzo defines. The three types of footwork there is a half step, which could often very be followed by a half step, a full step or passing step, and a triangle step, which is turning the body on the ball forward. I believe it was Marozzo much more defined. I believe the triangle step.
You may never know where
You never know what
You know that
Is it Steve?
my favorite.
guy whose name.
Correct answer.
Any other questions of the theory or at this time? Yes.
A very open-ended question, but if you had to describe a difference in the ethos of a philosophy between Fiore time and, let's say, Dall'Agocchie, do they really have a different, is Dall'Agocchie more modern in certain ways, and do you have an opinion on that?
My personal opinion is that they are not necessarily more advanced, they're just different. Of note that Fiore doesn't go into sort of one hand, certainly not to the depth that I am familiar with Dall'Agocchie. I often describe Dall'Agocchie as having written a Tolkien-esque amount of detail in the way that he writes. But I think for me the biggest thing is that Fiore I'm familiar very much with. Well, my familiarity with Fiore, other than Avanzare and Dagger, is with the longsword, which tends to have a single crossguard and therefore, to some degree, will dictate how to defend and how to react, whether your hands are refused or forward changes. Something like this, sword with a very simple crossguard might be way more refused, for example, earlier, closer to Fiore's time, whereas I have another option here with something that is far more complex, which allows me to essentially have my hand almost every because it's covered. So I feel if you want to talk about advancements, the advancement of technology in the sense of hand protection, I would say yes, there's a bit more of an emphasis in Dall'Agocchie's time, especially writing borderline 2 centuries later. But I wouldn't say that one is technically more advanced than
So I wasn't going to, but I'm going to now. Bastien inspired me. So here in Ottawa, your curriculum as a recruit has given you a unique opportunity compared to the other recruits at AEMMA to have some comparative thoughts about the different things that you're studying at the same time. So is there any, so my question to you is, and again, it's also open-ended, is there something that you found which you take to your study of Fiore or to your study of Bolo from the other source? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think I understand. It's, I find that...
Let me rephrase it better. Is there anything that comes to your mind that where the sources complement each other?
Yes, for sure. In terms of, distance and tempo are concepts that are to be understood. They're different. For example, longsword will have a larger distance because it is a physically longer weapon. Same with, for example, sword one hand versus puñale will be different lengths. But the concepts, the core tenets of how to maintain that, how to see the signs in which you can respond, those remain constant. It's interesting to see the differences of how different weapons might cause you to learn them, but I don't perceive them as different inherently. It's just yeah.
Okay, that's sufficient. I don't want to make some. Yeah, got good.
Any other questions?
Which is your favorite, Fiore or Dall'Agocchie?
I prefer Dall'Agocchie. That's because it's only my same. Just saying.
One final question I have is, what do we rely on the other Bolognese masters for?
So,
Looking for what we do.
for the most part, they round out our curriculum, and especially in terms of, we got, Marozzo teaches us especially about pugnale more than other masters. There's also pole arms, such as the spear we usually use Fiore, but for the partisan we'll use Anonimo Bolognese. They introduce a little more context for example, a dagger against unarmed with two swords, a sword and a secondary, such as a buckler or a knife, carrying knife, things like that, carrying daggers. They provide further depth and context and help us round out our curriculum to understand the system as a whole better.
I wanted to find a master to look at sword and buckler for in the Bolognese system. Which would you point out?
Marozzo for me, because I am most familiar with that.
That is a correct answer.
Anything else? All right, I'll put your sword aside. That's actually that's our section. So for those of you who are watching the first time, I'm going to demonstrate a lot of the art for us, starting with the wrestling. There's no time.
Hydration, you say?
All right. Stuart. All right. Number one. What are the key things you need to know if you're wrestling?
If I'm wrestling. Fiore outlines the important skills, skills are the word that I use. Speed and strength, strikes, holds, locks / keys, depending on which one you want to use, how to dislocate, how to break, and what have I not said? Speed, strength, dislocate, break, holds, throws, strikes, and locks, keys.
And you mentioned strikes. Where would one want to strike someone?
The painful places are, I'm not going to do them to you because that sucks. Because they're all right, the eyes, the temples, under the chin, the flanks, and the nose.
Right, please demonstrate the fork, including the volute, in terms.
So the steps and the turns are?
Steps and turns.
Okay, so there's increasing step, passing step, triangle step. And poste are porte di ferro on your side. If you raise your hands up, keeping the elbows in, poste frontale, which is a warning poste. If I extend the arm that is in line with the lead leg, it's posta lunga, same on the other side. And if I bend the arm, it's cinghiale, or cinghiao if you're truly in.
Okay. So a few seconds, please demonstrate posta one.
Okay.
Could you list all the steps and all the turns in Fiore? Because there were a few missing.
Give me a minute.
So do the turns or you start with those?
Oh, sorry, I missed the whole step.
Mm-hmm.
Whole step when I keep the volta.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the Italian for the increasing step and passing step.
There's a third turn, which is the odd turn.
Oh, sorry. There's a half turn with the turn, which is just the passing step because it causes a half. I didn't say it as a turn.
It is a turn.
Oh,
Yes,
true.
So, 3 questions. What is it called when we step off the line?
This is a good question.
The next one is, what part of the foot do we land on?
The ball of the front. Notably, you are not front weighted, I'm going to say. But you are not rear, well, okay, it depends, I guess. If you're refusing, you're on the rear leg. If you're not refused, it's more on the front. You're fairly central.
And which posts oppose each other?
Posto frontale is generally just a warding guard. It can oppose anything depending on how it's in. Posto lunga would be opposed by Cinghiale, I believe. And Portaferro is, it will lead into any of the others, so it can oppose it. I'm not sure if there's a specific answer I'm missing here.
What you said, Cinghiale and Lunga opposed.
Yes.
Could you say would you?
Frontale and Portaferro, I would say yes by default, but by cross elimination, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still more football there?
Yeah, it's okay.
You good?
It's fast.
Okay, please demonstrate the first assist business. I'm saying those are the going.
Okay, so for the first one, we will start with opposite feet.
Just for the benefit of everyone, please do everything twice. And the second time you do it, no commentary.
Do you want me to explicitly just to explain what I'm doing?
The first time, and then repeat it again, and then
Just-
no commentary.
Sounds good. All right, so if we, in the first master, the remedy master, we start with opposed feet, and their lead arm is on my cuff or behind my head, and they strike at me with their other arm. I jam my arm into their elbow as it's coming in, and that is the remedy master. So we do it one more time. Opposed feet. Sorry. The second play for a scholar, we start from that position. So if we get to that position, I go to Cinghiale with my upper arm, looking for that turn of the arm, and throw it into a ball with a hold this time. Sorry, finger this time. All right. Second scholar, third play. They obviously don't want to do that, so as I am trying to turn their hand, they will bend it to prevent that from happening. I shuffle into posta lunga with a turn of the hip of the body, throwing off my hip. The next play, the preceding plays after that, we will be matched feet, so we'll do right foot forward, and we're quite a bit closer. So once we get into this grappling position, my lower arm will clinch the center of the lower back. I'll go into posta lunga, the classic structure, again with a turn of the hold stab of the piece. All right, they're obviously not going to like that I'm doing that, so they will take a step back as they feel me pressing. In which case I shuffle in, posta lunga, back to play 3 on the other side. She will dismiss it a little farther from the concrete. So. And the final one that we'll show is the countermaster. So if Stuart tries to do that to me in the fifth play, sorry, with your okay. I push his elbow up. And go I will actually throw you there because that'll be not a fun recovery.
I'll show it one more time.
Say what? Yeah, thank you. This is
Are you familiar with the two triangles that are used to do throws?
yes. The main one that I look for is if we let's say do the first where we have matched feet. I'm looking for the triangle where his feet are not basically, so his are in line here. He is vulnerable to fall this way.
Okay.
And I have to say one obviously. Where in my case the same direction is where I am strong against.
So that's one triangle. Where would be the second triangle where throws are adequate?
Give me a sec to think of the words.
Feel free to use Stuart as you've done.
Okay. The second triangle in which I can, for throws specifically, is, I mean, if he steps back, it's the same triangle, correct? Like if he steps back, his triangle, it's the same one behind him there.
Yes. You use it earlier as part of your first score after the reading us.
For the first one. I see. So if we, let's do that one again. For the Gigano, right? It is in front of them. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was understood those the same one. Thank you for the clarification.
Do you see anything else from the first experience?
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
May you show us the stance, please?
The stance, like from where we're starting place. So for the most part, I will be starting in Point de Ferro. If Stuart comes in, for example, with the opposite feet, I will come up to, as I jam my arm here, I'm essentially going to a low coastal movement, I guess.
So I apologize, I wasn't clear. How does Fiore the Berry tell us to stand?
Oh, I see. It's a fairly boxy, I don't exactly remember the way you described it, but it's a fairly boxy stance with the rear foot pointed slightly out and forward foot pointed directly at work, essentially.
Okay. The second question I have is, what if Stuart grabs you and bends you all the way, like completely over? What is the most important action in the first play of wrestling?
You are referring to the first scholar?
Yes.
So if
So
you were to do that to me,
if he really pulls you forward, what's the most important thing you need to do?
then push the elbow. That's what I would do to get on it. Generally speaking, we want to protect the head. I would say so. It's keeping the head bent as well, or tucked, I should say, bent. But my rule of thumb tends to be if I see an elbow, push an elbow.
Yes. Good. Last week we did start from that. Here will be last one.
Mouth guard or anything? Do you want me to wear a mouth guard or anything?
Do you?
Are you gonna just don't get this
Does he know what to?
So
we never open.
So you are expected to perform on outside against someone who's not going to be too kind of game.
I'm totally
So
fine with that.
then check the arts.
I'm going to take my gloves off because fair. Yeah, the openings of things that I. You could pretend.
Oh, keep going.
Okay. Not very well.
Whenever you're.
That's my usual.
Got a lot of mileage out of that one.
I did. I just said that here.
Right, grab some water and then get ready to do some dagger. Alright, moving on to the dagger section of the book. So just wait for 1 second. We'll have, actually, no, sorry, we'll go right to the attacks and defenses. Sorry. How can one stand with the dagger in the hand?
So, Point de Ferro, the point with it pointing up, otherwise it's not very similar. There's Portofino doubled and crossed. Sorry, double being pointed towards the double and crossed. Those are the three main ones.
What are the angles of attack with the dagger? Sorry, what are two bricks with the dagger and what are the angles?
Yeah, so there's, I've seen it explained both ways, but I like to refer underhand, overhand. As well as obviously doubled and crossed, depending on what you're dealing with.
Please demonstrate before angles of attack against you.
So the most common one is a mandrito, hitting from their, on their left clavicle, the reverse of which is Araverso, hitting the right side clavicle. Fendente is straight down the middle, either horizontal to the eye slit if he's wearing a visor, or down is a vertical. And with an overhand, Sotano, up the gut.
What is your offhand doing while you're attacking?
Very often it's in presence to check. If I see no blood, I should know. It's to check, I can strike, I can go into a throw, things like that.
Hand dagger was yours. Please demonstrate before basic covers.
Alright,
Thanks for times.
so you throw one mandrito. That's the first one. Fendente hits with two arms. If you throw me a Sotano, it's the same thing, but low. And the reverso is to come in Postalunga on the right side, in my case, and check the elbow with my other hand.
And then succession that you can
Reverso.
Yes.
You showed us 3 guards with a dagger. Can you show us the guards without?
So, as before, there is the ones I showed before with Portofino. There's Portofino double and crossed, with Portofino double, specifically for grasping one. And there's
That's three.
That's scripture.
I was leaving it on the side. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
What does Fiore tell us to do after the Mandrita defense?
In what's because there are several things you can do.
So something with the right hand.
You are most likely going to, if it's not successful, for example, bend the arm along the rest or something that's related.
Can you demonstrate?
So I'm talking about the defense.
Oh, I see. Specifically against the movement. The first thing I believe he shows is the disarm. Is that what you're looking for, or is there a specific thing?
So if you do a defense against Mandrita,
Yes.
what does Fiore tell you to do next with the right hand?
With the right hand, probably smack in the face, punch in the
Strike.
face,
Yeah.
strike in some capacity. Be specific. Thank you.
So while we're on reading, why don't you answer the 4 things you can do as follows.
All right. Specific order you want, just the order shows up.
Order you, whatever order
Sounds
you
good. All right, so they all start with the
Sorry,
same,
just before we start, can I ask you to do everything for me twice?
same as before.
Second time, yeah, that'll be recurring.
Sounds good. Yeah, so the covers remain the same. So if you throw in the grito, the cover remains the same, and the disarm is to bring the arm to Portofino as they hold the stab away. And again, cleaner. Specifically, this relies on, if actually, just one more time, super quick, that I need the dagger to be over the arm for this twist to work. Disarms. The next is the break. I would strike the face. I won't because he's on the mask. Come just behind the elbow on the shoulder and lift until the head extends. Disarms, breaks, binds, keys. Same one. If I am deep, I go to Chingale. And throws. Let's simply go this way. And I could continue to disarm as well.
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about a particular page that describes those 4 fees?
So, what is the name of that page? I keep forgetting. You're talking about the page that has.
The page of 4 masters and different clothes.
Oh, jeez. This is the part I didn't study all that much into. He describes the masters in with specific symbolic imagery. So, going in order, there's the master of disarms. He's holding a dagger and a beast standing holding that as well. Holding the dagger after having successfully disarmed them. He uses fancy fruity writing, but I can't recall exactly what he uses. The master of breaks, he holds a pair of arms, signifying the various limbs that he has broken over his time of his opponents. The master of keys, he's holding a big key, big state's key, that is to signify the keys or locks of where one can lock their opponent in a position where they're essentially in a way that their limbs don't want to bend naturally. And throws, this one he's standing over his opponent after having successfully thrown them on the ground and beating them in the time.
Do you have an opinion on the order of this master, the way they are dressed, and why that would be?
Yes, that refers to the depth of the crossing. So Master of Disarms is done at the wrist, the flanks of them. Master of Breaks is done at the elbow. Binds is, I think before the binds is done at the elbow. And throws is done at the shoulder. This is how I interpret this, is the level of depth at which you can perform that action, or series of actions.
How do you decide which of these actions to do based on pressures or energy?
So, if they continue to push through, I am likely to, depending on some guards work better to throw if they continue pushing through, or to disarm. So, for example, if Stuart were to throw the Bolarinho one more time, I continue his inertia into my action in order to disarm. If he is pulling back, I'm more likely to go into something like a key. So if you give him a Bolarinho and upon block, if you pull back slightly, I might go into one of the keys where I step in to make use of the bend in his arm he has created by going back. If I cover very deep, where we are very close, it's a little too close for me to safely disarm, for example, then I would go for the throw on. Say that 2 times each.
Please.
So fendente, the disarm. If you give me a fendente with a horizontal line, straight down. Hand goes to the tip, and with a little slightly turns, and I can either hit it with the pommel, hit it with the pointer, and grab it. Breaks. Again. I will block the same way and enter with a tutolta, a turning step, and hyperextend his arm by curling it essentially towards his face. Block remains the same. Service breaks. Binds keys. I block the same. If you pull back slightly, I see the bend in the arm, and the right arm stays on. The left goes behind, grabbing my own wrist, and pointing it, pulling him back in an angle in which the arm doesn't want to bend. To his back right, I would say in this case. And if I continue, it would break or dislocate the joint. And throws. Let's get up here. Sorry, I will actually describe what I'm saying here because maybe I'll do that here. I will block the same way. Left arm will come to his elbow and push towards his face. And the more I push, the leg will naturally come up. I make use of that leg and help him along that trajectory, lifting the leg. Sorry? He's good at falling.
Yes.
Reverso. So disarms. If you throw me a reverso, the block remains the same. I step in and do the volta, and then twist the dagger.
Could you do that with this?
Certainly can. Some other cells. The cover is the same, except I will then come in with the arm over, essentially throw his arm into my armpit, and turn the same way.
It's much better.
Some might say that.
Some might say that.
I disagree with that.
It's a point of contention.
Emma's a mixed opinions on that.
Which one shall I do without commentary?
Do the first one.
This weird ball types, you know. Okay, disarms. So the next is breaks. Okay, so I cover the same, and I take a passing step while applying pressure just behind his elbow with the edge of my arm, rolling his arm down. One more time. Keys. So if you one side block, I will continue to do the same as as I just did with the armbar, the break. You obviously won't want me to do that, so you're going to pull back your arm slightly. As soon as I see we'll get there. So I'll reverso, I block. I go to continue doing the armbar. I see that bend. I slide my arm under and help him down. Sorry, I got caught in your block. Let's do it. And throws. So the throw happens by I block the same. If you throw me the reverso, the same. And here I can take another passing step and perform the third play. One more time. Stepping behind him, hip to hip, and doing the what does that mean?
Could you do that?
Yes, sir. There are other ways. There's a slightly riskier point, and I'll get to that later. So if you throw the rest over one time, I can also go with a clothesline, but I have less control of the deck, so it's somewhat riskier. Sorry if I get sweat.
That was exactly what I was looking for.
Is there a clear reason why you do one of the over the other with these two throws?
In the first one that I showed, you maintain more control over the dagger, and therefore don't get accidentally stabbed.
I'll rephrase.
Yes.
Is there a situation in which you've come to where you've come to do your parry, and one of these throws is more open to you than the other?
There is a question of how deep you've stepped, partially, as well as how deep they have stepped. Let's say can also make that difference. So if Stuart, if you take a big F-off step, you know, we're quite close. In this case, I can actually step here relatively easily. Whereas if I take control of that distance and I step deep into the defense, but otherwise the same, I can still step forward with my rear foot to crush close the rest of that distance. Depends on how deep I've stepped, depends on how deep he's stepped. Sometimes it depends on my intention as well. Do I want to kill him or do I want to?
Did that answer your question, Chief?
Yes, comprehensively.
Okay. So the first one is the disarm, so the block remains the same, and notably I have to step to the side, and I will raise his arm, and then to volta, to twist it, volta slide to twist it out of his arm. Out of his hand. Breaks. So we'll do this one maybe a little slowly. So the cover remains the same, so you feel the stun. I will bring his arm up to roughly my elbow, my bicep, and on the side elevation, I can extend his arm. One more time. I might change the order of this one for a very specific reason, is that the throw here is very similar, though slightly different. The action is the same, so if you throw the Sultano, I still bring it up. However, instead of turning upright, I turn pointing down to throw. Actually, let's go on this way, see how much solid because you're going to
Right, but I'm not.
Yeah, but you're a judge.
Thank you. Town wall. Oh, they're right and so the last one is keys or locks. It's going to look very similar to another action. So if we do this tunnel and if we pull back, we can shuffle in, step back, and to get that bend in the elbow one more time.
Yes. You know another key?
Yes. Well, there are. I can also force the bend in that arm to create the same key. Actually, I should say. So actually, I'll demonstrate, I guess, for that point. If he's refusing to bend it as much, I can come in with the other arm and do the same key there. This one. I know there is one. I'm blanking right now.
So do we have a nickname for that type of key?
I've always. You guys probably. You definitely do it.
Very great.
Yes.
Could you articulate the difference between strong lower key and weak lower key?
Thank you.
I see. So a lot of it depends on the bend in the elbow and whether I have to create it. I would say it's weaker if I have to create it in the context.
Could you demonstrate an example of? Sorry, that's not a question.
Right.
Strong lower key.
So I was the way that I've always understood this is that the weak lower key is when I create the bend, the strong one is when it pulls back and I exploit it.
Okay.
And
Does that answer your question?
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other throws that you
yes.
Other sounds.
Leaves it to us.
Okay, so for this particular one, you're going to throw the Sultano, and once I block, instead of creating a bend straight back, you're going to bend across to your left. Very good, Rick. I will help you across your leg. Yeah. You know, I just want to throw them.
So what are the three types of keys that Fiore described? I don't think you've named them
Yes,
quite.
there's upper, middle, and lower.
Okay.
This is something that I know that it is in relation to the height, I guess, of the elbow, of their elbow, I should say. It's, and I believe if I'm going over or under it, this is something that I have yet to make.
Just quickly show one middle, one high, one low.
Okay, so if you throw a mandibulas, oh sorry, I almost did it. Like if I did it. This one is a middle. If you throw a that is a high, and the lower key is the one we did with the Sultano that I demonstrated.
Shirts. Maxim Nossevitch. Start defend itself and perform the
Nice.
do 2 more chains.
Good.
John, stop.
You are cycle.
Actually, we went to Pugnale. Please tell us about Pugnale.
Yeah, roughly 40 centimeter blade, short sword, long dagger. We primarily study this from Marozzo, and it is, because it is much closer than the distance of the sword, although farther than the rondel slightly, we're basically entirely in Quinquestetta here in the Bolognese system. It makes it for very quick, steady, and slicing combat, but it doesn't make sense for me to have a refuse position because I'm open with very little recourse to defend. Is there anything?
Yes, so first of all, let's do armor versus Pugnale. What is different from a rondel exactly?
So, if you have a underhand grip and you throw, let's say, a I have to step in quite a bit deeper or displace him more because the blade is longer and it actually has a cutting edge. So I have to be a little more careful. Like in this case, the disarm doesn't change all that much. However, if, let's say, you throw me a pendente, I have to be aware to not slice my hand as I'm doing it. And again, it is longer, so I have to push up and farther out to dislodge him. Those are the main two things.
Also, like his grip, like how else can he hold it?
You can also actually, yeah, so if you throw that same mandrito with an overhand grip, you can actually cut it because it has a cutting edge, unlike a rondel. Well, unlike many rondels. So if you just throw a good old mandrito, my defense doesn't change. However, I potentially have a bigger opportunity here because it's going away from me to come in for a deeper throw, depending on how deep they step, how they step, things like that.
Yes.
What do you have less opportunity?
I have less opportunity for, in particular, well, depending on which attack comes in, keys, because it might be a little close. But
In that specific case.
in the case of Pendente,
In the case of the, yes.
So throw it again.
Not here.
I cannot disarm it. Yeah.
Yes.
I cannot disarm in the same way as I'm going to my leg. That's what you're saying. Thank you. Appreciate the clarification. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then pick up the Pugnale and demonstrate the 5 plays, what sequences that he shows us.
Okay, so Marozzo, they all start with Strata. And the first sequence is that I will thrust to the inside of their glove, if they're wearing a glove, to back them down. They obviously will raise their hand because they don't want to do that, and throw a mandrito. I will defend with the true edge in Marozzo's entrare, and come around with their verso face. One more time. Second play is if you come with that rising thrust to him, throw a reverso traversato, and he will likely come with a mandrito to me. I will block it with the true edge one more time. And cut around.
Do it again.
Yes. And throw that mandrito. Oh, sorry. No worries. Third play is I will constrain him in the usual manner, that is to close the distance remaining from the strata. I will receive either a mandrito or a reverso to the leg, which case I'll retract it, and reverso to the face, come back in. One more time.
With that last play you just did, is there any way you could make it even safer for you when you conclude it?
Yes. So if I do the same play, leave 4 or 5 paces back to Blue. Blue specifies 4 or 5 paces actually.
Is there another thing you could do in distance, like keep you safe?
I could certainly check this farm once it passes me.
Joseph.
I could potentially, depending on what I see, there are other openings for throws, keys, etc.
Does that answer your question?
Very much so.
Next.
All right, that was 4.
That was number 3, so you have 4 and 5 left.
Thank you. Number 4. They throw a mandrito to my head. I enter with a entrare, typically with the true edge, grab under his arm, open him up, and press. Okay.
And 5.
5. Almost without feet, they're going to throw a staccato at me, and almost without feet, I will mezzo, reverso, put reversa to the flank. Okay.
Please, anyone see anything else? Any questions? Right, thank you, Stuart. Shane, your last please. So also doing Pugnale versus Pugnale. We're not doing articles in alarm because we've already done that. So we're doing Pugnale versus Pugnale for the audience, so not versus alarmed. So, tell yourself.
Can I try him too?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the best defense.
Two more.
Stay on there as well.
And pause. So, starting with sword in one hand, Giovanni Dall'Agocchie. You already mentioned a bit about the headings. Show us, show us again the specific basic steps of the Bolognese tradition, please.
Bolognese has the 3 basic ones, which are the increasing step,
Okay.
the passing step, and the triangle step.
Okay.
In combination, they include a variety of other such steps, such as the chasing step, which is 2 half steps, often passing with a triangle will happen together as well.
And perhaps the most Italian step of all?
The most Italian step of all being the change step, or the void, depending on how deep you are into it.
Please demonstrate the 8 guards.
Right. So to start with the low, there's the longest step, the Greek, the alta, the ferro, the ferro. The high guards are alicorno, testa, which has a lower point and crosses the body. Sorry.
That was right for just review of profile.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, more profile on alicorno, as well as testa, entrare, and faccia profile as well. But you don't hang out those guards so much as transition through them.
Are there any other variations of those guards or negative guards?
Yes, I might mess up the name, the total name, but there's sopra braccio, so overarm, underarm, and alta, which is straight up high. But this one doesn't really come up very often. I believe Dall'Agocchie mentioned that it showed up in earlier masters, but it is no longer in fashion.
Okay. Using students as a dummy, please demonstrate. Sorry, how are the attacks broken down in the Bolognese tradition, which is very typical of them?
Right. So the first 2 divisions, if you want to call that, there are mandrito and reverso, such this meaning forehand attacks and other side, the reverse, the backhand. Thank you. There are further subdivisions there in fendente. There's the mandrito fendente, which cuts from his left eye to his right foot. The reverse being from his right eye to left foot. Squalimbro, which is from his left clavicle to his right hip, and the reverse being side. Tondo, which is straight across the face or neck. There's ridoppio, which is the rising version of the scolindro, so from the hip to the opposite shoulder area, and same on the other side. And there are also the thrusts. There's the introcata as the descending thrust, usually to the flank. Stoccata, which is the rising thrust, often to the face. And he mentions it as a separate thrust, but it's a punta reversa, which I believe is to his right, which is outside the unit. So,
Any other attacks you want to perform?
yes, there are other cuts. They aren't often used as attacks, usually as defenses. Well, two of them anyway. There's the false edge cut along the scolindro line, cutting with the false edge being from hip to opposite shoulder. This is the falso dritto. There's the reverse, which is the falso manco. And then there is also the stramazzone, who writes it, which requires a full turn of the wrist. So, for example, I go into festa, full turn of the wrist, attacking usually along the fendete line. This is a very powerful cut because of the momentum it gains.
This is section. Please tell us the characteristics of the sword.
So, head, yes, the first head. So the true edge of the sword is the main cutting edge. It is the one that is in line with the second knuckles of your sword hand. The false edge is actually the opposite side. It is often, but not always sharp, can attack, but is more usually used to ward, defend. So I really face it back to you all times. There's the point for thrusting on a variety of different thrusts. There are different ways in which to gauge depth, tempo, distance, depending on how you look at it. We often look at, we can break the sword into thirds, so bottom third, middle third, top third. It will dictate what actions are available to you, depending on how deep you are in a crossing, for example. You can also divide it roughly in half in terms of what is the strong or the weak of the sword, where you have superior leverage, or you are likely to have superior leverage or not. And there's the, trying to think of a funnier word for this, but anyway, there's the basic ones. There's the kions to defend. Usually they'll have a finger ring in this area to slide your finger over the ricasso for better point control, and pommel things, and also pommel people, and also counterbalance. And also there's the two centers, in which you can take the gloves off because they're very slippery on this. There's the point of balance, which is roughly 2-ish fingers past the ricasso usually, but depends on how well the sword is made for one. I'm still getting familiar with this one in that sense. That is the rotational center, so when you're rotating, so it'll turn around that. And then there is the point of percussion, which is ideally where you want it hitting for the most power. In a good reproduction sword, if you smack it where it is vibrating at least roughly a palm-ish. It ought to be roughly a palm from the point of the sword. You'll see it vibrating less, and that's where it could hurt.
Questions so you dive in fence and all that stuff? So I called you prematurely. Stepping in guards, then get to weapon.
Not yet, anyway. All right. Just action or dictate?
Do it.
Okay.
What is that?
Stepping in the guards. it is quite literally stepping through from guard to guard with a cut. Usually, well, in the case of the false edge cuts, likely a ward or a beat to defend, to strike. How to move between guards, both offensively and defensively, and fluidly.
Yeah, can I ask you to do that twice more? Once very slowly,
Okay.
and then once at normal speed.
Natural speed. Okay. Decent speed.
Thank you.
Right, let's listen to the defenses then. Quello strata. Please demonstrate all 4 things one can do.
All right, we'll go in the order of false edge, defense, charge defense, thrust in opposition, and we'll continue this throughout all the.
I say, again, do 2.
Say so, dictate and.
Yep.
Okay, so if you throw me a fendente, mandrito fendente, I'll defend with the false edge going into testa with a triangle step, throw 2 dritti promozione, entering back to crudo step. More fluidly. Charge defense. If you throw me an imbrocata. So I will, sorry, I should dictate. I will, as the imbrocata is coming in, increasing step in with a true edge beat. In this case, if I am online, I can thrust. In this case, I'm not against the thrust. So I come in with a reverso tondo, cut back to crudo step. That is always we enter back to it. Thrust in position. If you throw me a mandrito tondo, I will essentially corkscrew my arm up and thrust as his attack is coming. And then leave most likely some capacity, depending on if the fight is injured or not. If you throw me a mandrito squalimbro, I can make the look of the defense, will pass by, and step back in with. I can either step back in with a reverso or changing step if I want to go past the line. He specifically says step back in, presumably back into the step. So we just go one more time. And then presumably leave.
Please do those same 4 things for crudo malta.
So if you throw me a fendente one more time, false edge defense in testa, to the promozione, leave back with the whole. For the charge defense, roll another imbrocata. File back to so it is more or less the same defense as a crudo strata. So beat with the charge, verso tondo, go back to crudo alto. If you throw me a mandrito tondo, I raise your hand, and I might need a step or changing step. I will likely end a little deeper in crudo alto because we start a little closer.
So one quick question, which is pertinent to how you're showing
Yes.
this play. Is there an order of motion, if you want? No, is there an order that you stick to in which you move your hands, your body,
Yes.
and your
Hand, then body, then. So if we do the
and body? So it's not too easy question.
Yes. So fair enough. So if you throw me a mandrito tondo, and I go for the thrust in opposition, if I step in as I do it, it is likely to either end up too deep or they will see me stepping and cut around to a reversal, let's say. So as soon as you see me taking a step, you cut around and it telegraphs what I am doing. The other aspect is if you give me tondo to the leg, which you can also do, I will raise my hand and retreat my foot. Because I treat it as it is a high attack, if we do it a little slower.
Yeah,
Is that sufficient?
so what is the ideal order
I see.
over time?
Hand, body, foot. So you move your hand,
Okay, yeah.
whether or not you make contact.
That's sufficient.
We're avoiding for brutal. Yeah, so for me, mandrito squalimbro over time. Same thing. We go make the look of an attack, step in and step back in with a reversal. Yes.
So those 2 guards, those attacks to the open side. And please demonstrate what you do the attacks to the closed side.
Okay, so from crudo strata, if you give me a reverso, let's just do a reverso squalimbro. I will press in opposition. My hand is already there. It is closed for a reason. From crudo alta.
Again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Alta. If you feel the same reversal.
Let's go underneath.
Iron Gate. If you throw me a reverso fendente, I will false edge beat as I increasing step with my forward foot and reverso to the head. For the charge defense, if you give me a reverso tondo, I will step out, hitting with the trudge, step back in with the thrust, and back with the fed. Yes. Still one more time. Okay. Thrust in opposition. Thrust in opposition. If you give me a reverso squatting, not much changes. I step in, increasing step, followed by left. Notably, it's to entrave because it's too close to the other side. In the Corona side, it was Faccia. Did I steer your question? No. just as soon as I heard a sigh.
Apologies.
That's all right. And notably, on the Portiferro side, voids can essentially only be done against thrusts, either imbrocata or the stoccata. Give me an imbrocata. I will go test it as I go back and cut into cinghiales.
Some things.
Thanks. So if you give me a reverso fendente, feet without feet, and step in on the reverso. Okay. It is a small hip turn with a beat, however, to generate some force. For the truage, I step in on the cut and thrust. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, reverso, give me a reverso square. Step in on the beat, thrust overhand over the wood. Normally we're trying to step the profile and to finish that thrust. For the thrust in opposition, if you give me a reverso tondo. Oops, I went too early. Right. I'll stop.
So go do it half as fast?
Yeah, let's do it this morning.
There you go.
Thank you.
One more time.
One more time. Either way, I corkscrew up and step in once I'm making contact.
And void.
And void. If you give me, let's say, give me a stoccato this time. It's the same thing as I step back to Portiferro, I go to testa and
And those two guards, attacks to the closed side.
So if we go to Portiferro strata, if you give me another dose coringo, it makes more sense to just step in with the first opposition. And open survey and cinghiale. Do you want that one twice as well?
Sure. And
Cinghiale. This one is interesting in that I can actually give an entrave as well because I'm already roughly on the outside. So if you give me a mandrito squaringo, I can actually come across the line and enter an entrave. I can obviously also do the same old faccia, so come in and come on that side, but thrust in opposition is just the most, it's closed for a reason.
Okay. And
And so if you give me a mandrito fendente, block in testa, or parry in testa, sorry, and to the hands out. I can also do long cut to what first? Conclude with the trade defense. If you give me an imbrocata. Or cutting back to imbrocata. Usually cut off over time. For the thrust in opposition, give me a mandrito squaringo. I will make contact in faccia. And for void, if you give me, let's say, a mandrito squaringo, I can do the same as before, feinting a defense in testa and coming back in.
finally closed side.
Both side. So if we're in the corner, if you give me a, let's say a reverso scoglio. Entrare is the easiest, it's already there, it's very low for me to go. However, if they come for the leg, let's give me a reverso tondo to the leg. I can avoid just extending that same guard into the wrist.
Yes.
You go first.
I literally just forgot the question.
Is there a way that you can defend without your sword from this guy?
Can you elaborate on
If given I have a specific attack against you, is there a way that you can defend without avoiding without your sword?
Could use a non-sword implement to affect this.
I mean, the fists are always an option.
So what correct how could you use your hand?
Sorry?
So how could you defend using your hand against this attack?
This is presuming that they throw, for example, like a mantra to squid.
Probably not correct.
No. Oh, I see. Ha. Okay, if you are throwing a thrust at me, I could theoretically slap away all up on the falls. I seriously. Yeah.
I just love seeing that defense.
I should have known coming from you.
So from a Fiore context, what else can you do with the left hand if you're close with the sword in your hand?
Yeah, if you are close, keys and throws are always an option. So there is an example here.
We'll demonstrate one in the next section, so we'll go see that.
Okay.
But anything you saw T4? That's okay.
Yeah, there's very often that plays will just be that will end in do the present. This is an option open to you. They assume you know what it is.
Okay, thanks, Drew, for the first report. Switch over to variation attacks.
Okay.
We'll do this twice.
Same speed.
We'll start with go a little slower the first time, and then full speed next time.
Okay.
I'm lying, sorry.
I'm not actually going to cut you there. We still doing it twice?
Oh, that was twice.
Okay. Do you want to do this a little slower?
So what was the function of that?
So this is actually one of the things that appears fairly frequently in the Bolognese tradition is they focus on what is known as a salty, so essentially choreographed attacks, defenses, things like that. So this showed martial intent. I find is the main big one here. It shows a variety of defenses. It shows at least one provocation, moving to the guards, martial intent in terms of if one of us doesn't protect correctly, guard correctly, that should land a hit. So it kind of is a stress test of the system in a sort of confined, choreographed environment.
Where does this sequence fit in his book?
Like chronologically, like where in the book
Yeah,
it is.
where in the book?
It is after the defenses, before the provocations.
So we said the magic word, come back in.
Hey!
Provocation. Please demonstrate 2 provocations and a counter from each guard.
Okay. All right, so we'll start in the same order of guards as he shows us with Culo Mistrata.
Actually, why don't we do that? Where is the provocation?
Right. In the book, Dall'Agocchie is speaking with Pico, is the interlocutor. Pico, at this point, has spoken with Dall'Agocchie about all the guards, how to defend against any attack from any guard. And if my opponent surely knows how to defend against any attack from any guard, how do I hit them? They know how to protect themselves. Well, you get them out of guard. How do you do that? Through provocations. You either enter distance or you provoke a response from them. It becomes a game of, I know you know, but do you know that I know? And so on. Runs 5 to chess.
Okay. Please proceed.
Right, so we'll start with Hulunga Strata. So there are several decision trees to be made in many of these provocations, this one being one of them. The first one is, if you do not respond, I throw falso dritto beat along with a triangle step, and if they do nothing, I hit them a little bit to the head. Naturally, they're not going to let me hit them to their head, and they will go to face. So if you give me the falso
Sorry,
dritto
twice also, please. Repeat.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So option A is they don't respond. Naturally, they're going to respond, like in face. So if you give me a false dritto, I will enter in face. Time. As soon as I see that hand turn, because the hand, this relates to your question earlier, as I go face, my hand turns before I commit the foot. So we'll do this with the first one slowly. This is decision tree 2, option 1. 2A, one might say. If I give the falso dritto beat, and I see that hand turning but that foot hasn't committed, I continue stepping out and reverso ridoppio the arm. And presumably, I could also thrust depending on how deep I am and able to go, but they keep being reverso ridoppio quicker. And actually, sorry, I'll note, let me do it one more time.
Yeah.
I want to get back to it. Sorry, on the count. So if Stuart gives me the falso dritto beat and I go through face, he goes for the leg, for the arm, sorry. I step back with a reverso to his arm as I step back out of distance. Step a little more out with the reverso. That is the first provocation in the next one, the second one that we're showing, is from Hulunga Strata, I throw a mezzo cut to the arm, landing in Porta Strata. Presumably they see this big opening on my right side, that is what I'm provoking, for them to attack the side with the stoccata, and I thrust with a thrust in opposition. I know it's fine. One more time. That's right, let me do that. If they, if I may, I might change the order of this one a little bit. If they disengage from my thrust. So if I will cut to porta di ferro, slowly go to stoccata. As soon as they see my hand raising, they might disengage by going to something like an entrada. I will switch sides, and he says punto reversa, it ends up being as high as it needs to be on the right side. The ideal response to this is you're behind in time, and so if you do the mezzo cut to the arm, if you do the provocation, I said we don't play that game. I go to Anonimo and make it too dangerous for them to proceed. There's a second option from so, all right, the first Hulunga Alta one will look similar to the first Hulunga Strata one, where I will throw a falso dritto beat. If they do nothing, ideally I hit their head, or their sword. So we'll try. He actually specifies sword, but if you look at the distance, you can absolutely hit their head. This leads to something else, a thrust and cut, but the provocation is to beat. The response to this is, as I get that falso beat, I will step back to Anonimo and prevent them from a safe route to proceed. That is the first provocation. The second one is, so if your Hulunga Alta is pointed to my right shoulder, I will, over their sword, enter with a stoccata. If they do nothing, I let them thrust. They're not going to let me thrust them so easily like that. So they will go to, let's say, something like that, entrada. In which case I mandrito tondo their head. It goes to a little quicker the second time. So.
One more time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you have a question?
I do. This, you tell me this is a bad question. So do you often commit a foot to provocations?
To some degree, it is necessary for some of them. In this case, the hand should still move first, so if you're pointing here, yeah. I still want to extend my hand, see if they allow me to commit that foot. I commit that foot in order to get the response because it looks like a real attack.
Yep.
Once I get that response, I can proceed.
Thank you, that answers my question.
So the response to this, the ideal response is as soon as I see them turning their hand to stoccata, is to simply enter with a thruster in opposition. They will cover themselves one more time. Cut across the line, there is an option where if they get to the mandrito, is to gather it up as I change step and thrust in opposition on the other side. So one more time. I want to do that as big as possible. But still hand first and body foot. Yeah, that is the second. Second? Yes. Yes.
Please.
Great. Okay, so for both an arm gate,
Proceed.
okay. I want to provoke them an arm gate. I can, with an increasing step forward foot, throw a reverso field and profile myself to the imbroccata to the flank. Time. And those will be probably the nearer flank, the forward one, as in their right flank. The response to this is that as they, sorry, I did wrong. As they come in with that imbroccata, I come in with a true edge defense, essentially. So one more time, I'll do slowly with a little bit more explanation. So as soon as I see that, I essentially step out from Federal with a true edge, with my true edge, come in with the thrust, cut back to the second Federal provocation. It will look familiar. it is a very foundational motion. Is ideally, I make it look like I am throwing a false attack. If they go to faccia to defend, I continue to the left. Ideally, they do nothing, I hit their head. They're definitely not going to let me do that. So they're going to go to faccia. Their response, the response to that is if they make a false attack, I step back with a reversal over time to prove it all, cutting their arm. But notably, this will not work if the fake attack doesn't look real. That is the second part of the federal provocation.
Okay. And then will the final one be?
Chingado.
So,
Okay. Chingado. So I will throw a stoccata to their face and they will defend with their false edge out. As soon as they do that, I will step with my left to their right and throw a tondo and some class. The response to this is, as that tondo comes in, I will thrust a faccia in opposition. So I will still defend with the false edge, so if you use the back. I will pick it up with the true edge on the side, step in as much as needed. And in this case, yes. Second Cinghiale provocation. I will thrust with a punta reversa to their face, and they will defend this time with the true edge. So I will take another passing step with my left foot, reasserting the line, and thrust them in the flank. The response to this is to step back and cut their arm. Sorry, it is not. I apologize, I misspoke. It is to essentially do it first. I'm step out with a doppio and thrust against them. Essentially the same motion, but it has to be, normally it has to be specifically against their imbrocata. So, okay? Slow, let's just,
Yeah,
slow lessons, yeah.
And finally,
The first provocation in Anonimo is to throw with a chasing step, which is two increasing steps. Throw a mandrito square with their sword and hit them in the head with their verso tongue. Wrong feet. The response to this is as soon as I receive that beat, I will go to the reverse test, stepping back, cutting to the alta with the reverso. I will likely intercept the blow, but this might set me up for fencing. Over time. The second provocation from Anonimo is to, don't respond to this one. The way he says it is you throw a false attack with an imbrocata ending in porta di ferro strike. Presumably if you do nothing, capaccia al corno, I'm now in the distance to do the same thing and actually reach.
I recognize that from somewhere.
Do you now?
You did that earlier in that Bolo section. Yes.
Which part of the whole section?
That's what I'm asking.
I see.
Do you recognize that sequence?
Yeah, I mean, it appears, well, versions of it appear in the Stepping the Guards.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for answering that.
I was losing the name of the thing. The response to this is essentially to throw a false attack imbrocata, almost without feet, to their face. This will provoke them to respond somehow, presumably lift your false edge same as you would in the Chinada response, for example. I will dip my point under theirs and continue my thrust. So as I'm thrusting, notably this is done as they are landing into Porta di Ferro style, and not once they have landed.
So, in the interest of time, because I know we've gone a little bit over, I would like you to demonstrate this strategy that's a spot. But preface this by telling us what they are, and I want you to perform them.
Just do the thing. Okay. So strate de mezza spada are the crossings of the half sword. Literally, is what it translates to. And it presumes that we've got into a scenario in which we are crossed either on the false edge, falso con falso, or on the choice. So we'll start with falso con falso.
Okay.
So we'll cross the false edge. The basic, let's see, the basic one is to go to a testa guard with an increasing step, and kind of go with a step around. Do you want to just do it? Okay, so the first one is.
Okay. You're telling what stimulus you need.
Right. So here we're at the top-ish end of the sword, the crossing. This one can be top or middle. The next one, where the footwork doesn't change, but I enter with an imbrocata to their flank. Of note, with this particular sword, I actually need to turn it a little more because of the simple cross. The third one is, let's see, where's the closer? It will resemble the first one. So go to, essentially raise your sword to defend as I go to test. As if you're going to, entrap. I see the sword.
Not in product.
Sorry, Fudge. Thank you. Fudge. I should have helped.
Demonstrate the counter those weakness.
Yes. So if you need the first one, so it's just yes. It is to cross the position for the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just do the same. Okay. Against the thrust.
Against the thrust. Ideally, I just, as you cut it, I simply thrust in opposition on the other side. And against the back one step against the third one we did. I throw a wrong side. Send it to the head as they step back. I think
And finally, on the inside, these are which crosses.
on the inside. First one will look very similar. We're roughly at the top third of the sword. With one step, I go to reverse side guard and cut around. Do you want me to do the response to that right away?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so if you do that, that's no position. It works. The next one, we're across midway up the sword. I can't do the thing that I just did because they'll cut me, I'm too close. So I hit the flat of their blade with the hilt of mine and come in with a progressive. Let me correct my footwork there a little bit. The response to this is as soon as I get that stimulus of being hit, I turn it into Thermosone, cut into Chingali, and likely hitting them. The third one is, do you care if I told you here?
He's spotted.
Yes. Okay. We are crossed very deep, basically at the hilt. I will turn the hilt almost to as if I'm going to a reverse head guard, turn my pommel over theirs, and either hit them with reverso or, and in this case I might be able to see. There's the question about the Fiore stuff. This is fun. Let's see. Hey. The response to this.
Nice.
The response to this is as soon as I see that hand turning, I do it first. Slightly earlier. Take the initiative.
Once again, any questions, final thoughts, before we move on to the defensive portion?
While you do that, we'll start putting the jacket on.
You're up. Okay. So now we're commencing the final portion of the test, which is the fencing portion. So Max will face up against all of these scholars, Chief Scholar and Provost of the Academy, in ascending order of seniority. For the first four, the bouts will be 90 seconds long. If you need to get water at some point, please do. And then, Aaron, my satisfaction. Not a bad idea to start with. Not a bad idea. So looking for good plane fights, no eye gouge, no fish hooks. But demonstrate the art to the best of your ability. That is what we're expecting you to do. That's what you are testing for today.
Sorry, what was the length of time?
90 seconds.
90 seconds.
For these scholars as well?
No.
Just for the first four.
No.
Yeah, we fence
We go as long as we want.
Sounds good.
I go until like that. We'll pass that.
So are you ready?
Sorry. Back of the mask is okay, right? Is the back of the mask is covered well?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I think the strap was loose. Thank you for checking.
Ready? Salute.
Right.
Begin.
No, it was good.
Very nice. Well done.
$30 seconds.
Yes!
A little on my neck as well. Thank you. Not too bad.
Oh! You have the hand first.
Hey, yours was good.
Last pass.
Oh! Hand as well. Thank you.
Next cast. Begin.
was kind of flat, actually. I felt those moves.
Thirty seconds.
Very close. Oh, yours was first.
Last pass.
That's great. Begin.
Hold on. That's interesting. It's wedged in there.
New swords.
Yay. Oh shit, that never happened. Pause the timer. Okay, you can do this. That went right in the flowers.
What are the 5 times to attack?
Yeah, sword thing.
As he's getting
I believe he's still using them. Alright, can you get leverage against the
Why
guard?
don't we give you a peasant strike? This is what
That was a great sword. I mean, I defend it.
Okay. We got it.
Okay, take your arm. Thank you very much. That's so funny. That's.
Alright, let's reset that.
The guy was great for that one.
I don't see every day.
Good parry.
That was the first one.
Good.
Nice. Whew. That should hit. Heavy. Ooh, there it is. Face. Ha! Nice.
30 seconds.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to see that landed.
Last pass.
Let me grab some water.
Hey, that was an inspection.
We need to. Take a think. Again, present here. Here's his first.
I don't think you have to. Hit, good. Hit, good. Hit, 2 hits. Hit, good.
Yeah. That's 2 hits. Yep. Here's his first.
Seconds.
Hit.
And
Oh yeah, head. Very nice.
there you go.
All right, head.
Last pass.
Very nice. Good at
So this is Street Fighter 2, I'm Sagat. He's on Bison, so just be careful.
Yeah, I'm a bison. Whatever he said. What is it? I'm a bison.
I'm gonna be.
Yes! Yes, yes. Yes, all right.
Good.
Yep, all good.
Yeah.
All right, build them here.
Yours was a hell of a lot better.
Yes. And just
No, that was me.
just. Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
Right, nice. That's cool.
Perfect. Yes. Down here. Thank you.
Nice. Very well done.
Hey. Three more. Yes.
Thanks, though. Yep.
Awesome. Yes. Very good.
Water?
Generally speaking, yes.
Generally speaking, I think you should take some water.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though? When that got stuck, it didn't actually hit my finger.
I know.
It's crazy.
You can't travel down and push your fingers down here. It got caught up here.
To be fair, if it was a sharp, it would have.
No, but
Yeah, it's not far, right?
ah,
It depends. Depends.
Well, it got caught in the fuller, right?
True.
Right, shall we?
We shot. If you want to stand. I see you're also a fan of the laces.
I am.
I just line. I'm playing that game, Aaron.
Oh, yeah, good.
Good.
Aaron, I forgot the sorrel.
Not done yet.
Oh, that was amazing. All right.
That's it. That concludes the fencing portion of the test, so all that remains is deliberation among the scholars. In the meantime, Maxim Nossevitch in his chair. Scholars, to me.
All right, friends.
That's
horrendously uncomfortable.
Oh, chair.
Looks cool. Clearly, that's the point.
So, in consultation with the scholars of the Academy, and with us, we are very happy to announce that you have become a scholar of the Academy. As a very, very brief token measure, I note. So, I'll say a few words. I'm very happy that you've taken this test today. It's been a long time coming. I met you probably 12, 13 years ago.
Probably more.
Many years ago.
To be fair, we're doing
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Weird things.
Yeah.
And also, yes.
No, look, I'm very happy that you made your way to Ottawa and you made your way to this school. You've been a huge asset to us. And it's been great having you with us. So. Very happy.
That concludes the test. The scholars, having watched you, will provide you feedback in their own time through written means. Grab your sword and let's close in the scholar circle together.
Sure it is.
No, just a sword, just a sword, just a sword.
But I want to fun. What if it goes into the
Now we're going to go get a table. Run to get a table.
Good job, buddy.
Excellent job.
I'm happy I landed the trust on
You sure did.
Thank you.
My brain
Don't have to go home, but you